Hey,
Hey,
today Mark and I talked about how to respond to our own failures, both as saints and sinners, all in one personality. And hey, good morning.
good morning.
Today Mark wants to talk about why he's always right about everything. Let's start with you, Mark. Okay, well that was good. Good talk.
It's good talk. Yeah,
Sunday.
I actually feel better.
Yeah. Sunday I talked about how to respond to our own failure, which is one of the topics in the discipleship manual that I made a few years ago.
That was
And
fun.
yeah. Oh yeah, we used Psalm 51, which is King David wrote after he sinned with Bathsheba by committing adultery, killing her husband, covering it all up. But I had them put in order in groups some events from David's life, which included the kids
Yeah,
and adults and
it was fun.
yeah.
I like that.
One thing that I came away from a conversation, I guess Monday, I felt like and this person wasn't at church Sunday, but I say that you may have noticed I say the same things a lot, but
Yeah, I've noticed that a little bit. Yeah,
they're important to me, and
yeah.
and so
Well, that's how you commit stuff to memory. Yeah,
well also like the idea that I'm a sinner, the
yeah,
chief of sinners. I
yeah,
identify with Paul.
yeah,
And so this person was kind of identifying with that part, but has not right now been able to identify with. I'm also a saint. I'm beloved of
yeah.
God. I am good because now I have the nature of Christ in
Yes.
me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I felt responsible for them thinking that. I don't think I am, but let's just say you went to your therapist, Mark,
Okay.
Dr. Kuchenstein, probably would be your therapist name.
That is his name.
Krasenstein.
Yeah, and Crazy Stein.
And he said, well, tell me what's going on, Mark. He said, well, I do these things, and I'm a sinner. I do the wrong thing. That song, the
Yeah.
brokenness aside, with me, if it's not one thing, it's another.
Yep.
And your therapist might say, well, that's a terrible way to look at yourself, to think of yourself as is your pastor telling you that?
Right.
And you're like, almost every week, yeah, he tells me in some way that I'm a sinner and that he's a sinner. And I think if you leave to the world, that's not great.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But if you were to think of, if you can holding two thoughts,
But they're not diametrically opposed, though, are they?
I mean, just they are, what's the word? They are in conflict, right? So they're like, when our friendship, there's grace and there's truth. And if it was all what people think of grace, being like, oh, Mark said he was coming over today, but he didn't come. Well, I guess, but if I say, hey, Mark, I thought you were coming over today, then I'm bringing the truth in. And instead of
Yeah.
going, hey, you said you'd be here at 9:00. We were joking this morning
Yeah.
about, but like where there's grace and truth in your marriage, you want there to be,
Yep.
she comes home, her head's hurting. You say, well, let me fix dinner. I'll do the dishes. You just go
Go lay down and
lay down.
Yeah.
That's grace, right? But
Yeah.
if every day your head hurts, just say, can we
Hey,
talk
hang on.
about this? And
Hey, wait a
I'm
minute.
going to start taking your temperature or whatever. But like there's a
Yeah.
combination of
Yeah.
grace and truth. And grace doesn't mean leniency. It really means, like, truth is grace also. But anyway,
Yeah.
what we think of. But anyway, where those two things come together. So if I can somehow hold in my mind that, well, I shouldn't have said that to you the other day about your dog having ugly hair. But sometimes I just say stuff like that. I can be flippant with my words, and I'm sorry. Or I am sometimes flippant. But God's doing a work in me, and I don't want to hurt your dog's feelings. I always pick the worst examples.
You said my dog?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
I would not criticize Rex's hair in front of you.
That's one of those analogy things, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
But if you just pick up the one side without the other, I think you will not be able to maybe deal with the human condition,
Yeah.
which is that I do the wrong thing, and yet I get to do beautiful things
Yeah.
and lovely and helpful things, even though I am a sinner who's a saint.
I still haven't gotten wrapped around the whole that we are hidden. What is it? Like our life's hidden with
Yeah,
him. Like we're in
Colossians
heaven.
3.
And
Oh, no, Ephesians 1 or 2.
we're in
yeah.
heaven.
Yeah, we're seated with Christ in the heavenly realms at the right hand of God. Now we
Yeah.
are, which is, I don't think you should understand that.
Okay. Because I don't.
Right. Well, we talked maybe even last time we were together that if we understood it all, well, then we would be God, right? Or we
Yeah.
would be even I do believe, or I think that one of the main activities that we will have forever and ever is to know God, who is he's infinitely bigger and he has an infinite head start on us.
Yeah.
And so it would be enough
Wow.
in heaven to just discover him.
Yeah.
I don't. All my ideas are all crude about this, but like I really often think about there being like a video room or just videos playing, and you could
Right.
see Jesus feeding the 5,000 and healing a blind man, and then you could see these miracles that happen. They're happening all over the world. There's miracles happening every day, and like somehow
To
you
be able
could
to see him.
yeah you could see.
I hope
them.
that's true, man.
Yeah, because
That'd
that
be-
would keep you busy.
Yeah.
For a good long time, and forever is I think in the words of Prince, the great poet Prince. Remember that? I'm here to
I
tell
do.
you, there's something more. The afterlife.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Well, it's the
That's
the
a mighty
pause
long
on
time.
the pause on my side was I was trying to remember where you were going with
Yeah.
that. So,
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You're a little old for Prince.
oh no,
No?
I love that.
Did your friends into Prince? Because
No.
you were like a rock guy, and
No, they
yeah.
were not. None of them were into that.
Right.
He was a very, very talented
Oh, yeah.
musician, so that's why I was into it.
Because you got class and taste.
Are we coming
should-
back to
I
why
should not have
I'm
laughed. I should not.
why I'm better than
Yeah, so Psalm 51, David has, he saw a girl taking a bath on a roof. I could see that being a problem for
Yeah.
a man.
yeah.
Very interesting thing to watch.
It brings up a lot of questions. Why was she? Was that the thing that people do that?
I've heard that it was not really unusual for her to be doing that. I can't vouch
Okay.
that that's true or false.
Okay.
I guess. Well, this is an embarrassing story. I lived in L.A. when I was in college in the summers, 2 summers, and
Okay.
one day I was running on, I think it was Malibu Beach, and I was running,
Okay.
not from the cops, just running,
Okay.
and I ran past a lady and a man. I think there was a man with her, maybe just a lady, but she had on a towel around her waist and nothing on her top, and she was very pretty, and I just felt like maybe I was running a little slower. I don't know.
Right.
And I think I said hi to her.
Yeah.
And I was not a worldly person, so I had not
Yeah.
only had like I think accidentally ever seen a woman topless or whatever. But I thought, boy, that was it was hard to overlook.
Yeah.
And so David sees this lady.
Yeah.
I guess we can read into it that she's attractive, and
Yeah.
so he has her over, and they.
Well, he should have been on the battlefield, number one.
I think that's also read into the story a little bit, but yeah, it was the time of year that kings go out to war, which is a hilarious phrase. Like, hey, it's like war season.
Season is it? Wow! Finally,
Got my gear already. So David didn't go. Then he,
check out my new war boots.
yeah.
You know.
So he has sex with her. She gets pregnant. He tries to get her husband home to have sex with her. So it will be his baby in his mind,
Yeah.
and then he won't go in to be with his wife because the men are out on the battlefield. This is David's very close friend, a confidant, and then.
You said he kept him alive too.
Well, that may when David was under attack by Saul, Uriah was part of, like, I forget his mighty men. That
okay.
might be the wrong for it, but
Okay.
one of his main guys.
Okay.
And so,
Wow. Okay.
yeah. Actually, when I was preparing for that sermon, I was thinking of how hard it can hit you when you're betrayed. David betrayed Uriah. I mean,
Yeah.
among other things, he betrayed his friend.
Yeah.
And I don't even know. This is getting off a little bit, but I don't want to lose sight of the thing because I want to make sure I'm clear about something. But we should somehow be ready that you can be stabbed in the back, And
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been ready for that. And I kind of don't want to ever
I
be
don't
ready
think
for it.
I'm with you on that. I don't want to be ready for
Yeah.
that. Yeah, beyond a doubt.
So maybe in our friendships to be like the Bible does say to above all guard your heart. It's the wellspring of your life. But also like if you don't risk, like then you can't really love anyone.
Yeah,
So I think it's part of why divorce is so awful is because like the person you've entrusted the most to now becomes
yeah,
usually like your enemy, at
yeah.
least for a time, right?
Yep, exactly.
Like no one could hurt me like Jenny could hurt me
Yeah,
in the world. I wouldn't
agreed.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want to be jaded to the point where that wouldn't hurt. Oh yeah, well, Rich betrayed me on this thing. So well,
Right. Yeah.
that's just the way it is, you know.
And we should understand as carers, people who care, that someone that we're trying to get close to, probably even now, they've lost that flex for now, right? They can't flex very far into friendship yet because of what they've been through. And now that
Yeah.
I'm saying that, I can feel that with some people that
Yeah.
I am friends with, but I can feel where they've this close and no closer.
Yeah,
You can get this close and no closer.
Yeah.
And they have reason.
Yeah.
So by grace we push in, and
yeah,
which is anyway a blessing to push in. I mean,
yeah,
all right. So betrayed, sent him home. He won't go into his wife to sleep with her, and then David makes a plot to have him killed, which is horrible.
it is.
And then David, seems like he thinks, well, it was hard. We got through it. Like slaughtering those little rabbits. We got it
right.
done.
Yeah.
You don't want to think about it. Don't want to talk about it. Mark and I processed rabbits together one time, and
It's not easy.
it's not the worst thing in the world, but it is hard. It's
It
just
is
because
hard.
they're so cute.
Yes.
And we were
And they scream. They
It's-
can scream. Did any?
yeah.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, they can.
but I think David maybe was able because he was a warrior too. So anyway, he's.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah.
But then a prophet comes and says, tells this story about the sheep, and then David's angry, and he goes, the best line in a sermon probably ever. He goes, "You are the man."
Yeah.
So the application to David go, "Oh no." So
Yeah. You said, and that's probably why he was so angry. I guess maybe that he felt some of that. Maybe.
yeah, I was trying to make a point that David. So the guy had hundreds of sheep. I can't remember the exact words, and then. And he took from a man who had one sheep, which was like a pet, and he
Yeah.
slaughtered it for his guests. And David was so angry. And I think that we are often angered by things that remind us of our own
Yeah.
faults and sins, because that sin is running in the background of our conscience. So let me see if this. I hate to be 100 all the time being vulnerable, but let's just try this one. So I really am. If people lie to me,
Yeah.
I struggle really a lot with that, and I have struggled with lying myself,
Yeah.
but I put some pretty strong boundaries around it. So like if I lie, then I'm gonna tell you that I lied, or
Yeah. So I've got people, or had people, or people in my life that, with a lifetime of just lying about everything, things that they don't need, and after 50 some years, it becomes so. It's like. It's hard to even talk to this person because
all right.
it's. Is this the truth? No, or what is he trying to say? What's going on? And
But the other side of what I'm
Wow.
saying is the lying is such a spark for me because of my own struggles with lying to
oh, I
others,
see. Okay,
or whatever it is.
Okay.
So
all right, yeah. So
anyway, all
yeah.
the time
Yeah.
this is at least part of, and that's why Nathan had that story. And so David finally does repent, and he wrote Psalm 51, which I've been looking at this since I remember looking at this all the way back when I was 18,
Okay.
I've been in the Bible for a long time, but I remember this one really sticking out to me even in college, and then praying through it. But let's read some of it. Have mercy on me, O God, according to your unfailing love, according to your great compassion, blot out my transgressions. Wash away all my iniquity and cleanse me from my sin. So David, he once he realizes that he's caught, God saw, he says, have mercy on me. And I didn't get any great answer from this in my preparation with other people. Was like, have you ever just had to ask for mercy? Like, I can't think of it like from a person.
Yeah, I know. I was Sunday. I was trying to
Yeah.
think through.
I kind of think I have, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I probably have, but
It's such a strong word to use to a person.
No, but yeah,
like,
yeah. Something that you did that was really, really bad to another person.
Also, this is kind of hitting me just now, that it could just be a way of really taking seriously, even not a really, really bad thing, but like, well, I can't think of sometimes I think we act like things are bigger than they are, in the sense of like,
yeah.
I was 5 minutes late, and you're like, okay, have mercy on me, Mark.
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like,
Okay,
well,
yeah.
no, that doesn't. You're
5 minutes late.
because anyway, all kinds of reasons, including like in the old days, there's no watch, there's no clock.
Yeah.
So how are you late? I mean, it's dark, it's daylight. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking of let me see, what would be a place where. Well, let's say I told you, this has probably happened to us. I told you I'd give you $100 a month to pay off that car, this kind of thing, and you're like, well, I don't have it this month. I may have mercy on me. And I don't think I would say that, but that would be a time to say that, right? Too, even if it was your mom. My mom was always giving me money. I don't think I paid my mom back.
Yeah, same here. Well, she wouldn't take it,
Oh,
I mean,
even take it.
Even in my
yeah,
even in my like 40s or whatever, she would
Yeah.
send me money. Like, Mom, I'm not 9.
Yeah.
For crying out loud. But
that would have been actually. I think that would have been a good time to say, "Have mercy," or even to acknowledge. Because my mom wasn't going to bring it up. I said, "I appreciate your mercy in this. I just haven't figured out how to get these bills paid and then get the $100 to you every month."
Oh, okay.
It is mercy, right?
Yeah.
But to acknowledge it, that's what I'm getting at. What if we just acknowledge that? Well, that grace period you have on bills is really a mercy period. I think, honestly, right? It's like you owed and you didn't pay on time. So David comes in without defense. He says, "For I know my transgression and my sin is always before me. Against you only have I sinned and done what is evil in your sight." Verse 3 is pretty telling of a difference between us in Christ and David. I think he's prophesying Christ in this chapter, but he doesn't really know the Christ revealed. So he says, my transgression and sin is always before me. Mine is not. If I'm understanding what that seems to mean. Right, my sin is not always before me. My sin is gone. It's in the past, and I don't think much about it.
Yeah.
I don't feel guilty. I don't think about.
It's paid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And he didn't know, I guess, that his was paid, or his. So that's kind of awesome. That my sin and my transgression is not always before me. It's not between me and God. It's. Before me, always makes me think like I'm trying to talk to God, but my sin is before me. It's between us.
Well, now that would be the lie, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Or the condition of the person who doesn't know Jesus.
Yeah.
And then he says, only you have I sinned and done what's evil in your sight. One guy was preaching about that. He was talking about. It's not really a theological statement that like, if I cut off your finger, I did sin against you. But like that, the bigger sin is against God because you're His image and His Son. And I give example of how when my kids if one of my kids would hit the other,
I would
say, "That's my son. I don't appreciate you hitting him. don't treat my kid like that.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't leave them out there forever. Like, you're not my son also, but like,
Yeah.
let's deal with this first.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're right in your verdict and justified when you judge. Surely I was sinful at birth, sinful from the time my mother conceived me. Yet you desire faithfulness even in the womb. You taught me wisdom in that secret place. Cleanse me with hyssop, and I will be clean. Wash me, and I will be whiter than snow. Let me hear joy and gladness. Let the bones you have crushed rejoice. So verse 8, let me hear joy and gladness. I don't want to stay in this place of constant brokenness from what I've done. Now, I haven't killed anybody. I haven't committed adultery with anybody. I haven't tried to trick someone into going home and da-da-da.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's hard. If David could get past his sin and pray that, Lord, I want to be back to where I have joy in my life,
Yeah.
we can.
Yeah.
I mean, and not everyone.
That's the good news.
Even people who haven't done the level of things David did, they feel like, well, God can't forgive me, and I can't get it back. But we have to receive and accept that God is forgiving. It has forgiven.
I think that's one of the images that I take away from that is that, and I don't know, did God say it or did David say? But he's a man after my own heart. I mean, he was beloved by God.
Right.
No, I mean, not that we all aren't, but you know that they made that statement about him over other people.
Yeah.
There was a special connection, is all I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, it is weird. The story of David, his whole life is really such a it is a prophetic or a precursor to Christ. Not that he's the Christ figure, but of how God has dealt with us both in our sinfulness and in his favor at the same time. Like David is not, he's not consistent, but there is something about him that his heart is toward God.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He says, hide your face from my sins and blot out all my iniquity. Create in me a pure heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me. So now he's praying in the midst of his own failure that God would help him to start over with a new heart.
Yeah.
And so when you fail, you say, God, help me to start over. I think I brought it in here, but anyway, Brother Lawrence, 16th century monk, he had a prayer that goes something like, Lord, today I let you down, and if you don't help me, I'll do the same tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like that
I use that sometimes. Yeah.
I wish I'd memorized that, but it's something like that. Don't cast me away from your presence or take your Holy Spirit from me. This is the difference between David and us. God's not going to cast us from his presence. He's not going to take his Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
The Bible assures us, for instance, in Ephesians, that the Holy Spirit is the deposit on our faith. So the Holy Spirit is
with us,
one with our spirit also. Restore to me the joy of your salvation, and grant me a willing spirit to sustain me. So he's really leaning into God's help. I've failed. I need your help.
Yeah.
Then I will teach transgressors your ways so that sinners will turn back to you. Deliver me, O God, from the guilt of bloodshed, O God. You who are God, my Savior, and my tongue will sing of your righteousness. Open my lips, Lord, and my mouth will declare your praise. You do not delight in sacrifice, or I would bring it. You do not take pleasure in burnt offerings. So I mentioned Sunday that there is no offering to give when you kill someone. There's no offering in the temple for adultery. The penalty is death.
I was just thinking about that. Why wasn't he killed then? Because he did both.
Yeah, that's a great question. We should look it up. But overall, they don't follow the law.
Oh, I see.
They just can't.
Okay.
And I think that's part of the point of the law is you can't follow it. And
well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now it is that I find that's what the law is all about. Is that okay? If you're going to do this on your own without Jesus, then here's what you got to do.
Yeah.
And by the way, once you hear what you got to do, you realize, or you should realize really quick, that you can't do any of that.
Well, then also for a king, he's going to be above the law. Like, just is.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if there's anything explicitly like that, but we were talking before we started rolling the thing. Like, there's a Eric's. Is it Swalwell?
Swalwell, I think.
Like, is apparently having to leave the Senate and not run for governor because he
The House, but yeah.
did some sexual things, maybe rape, but maybe just other things or whatever. And other people do that, and it's. But anyway, so normally he would get a pass, I would say. Right?
Yeah,
He
as a
would get
politician,
pass.
he would get a pass.
Or,
Yeah.
Anyway, he would get a pass, but it may be expedient for him to be removed. And so all I'm trying to say there is that the law doesn't always apply to everyone.
Right, exactly.
Whatever law it is.
Yeah.
So he says, "You don't delight in this sacrifice." Now this is a sacrificial culture, though. This is what they, and I think there also he's looking toward a sacrifice, which is Christ, and he says, "My sacrifice is a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. God, you will not despise." So David said, "All I can bring to you is my brokenness over what I've done."
I was thinking that, in a way, maybe his son was the sacrifice.
That's a little creepy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he died, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was his name?
I can't remember right now.
Okay. He did have a name.
I think it starts with an M. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say that this son's death was I don't even know the consequence.
Yeah. I was just thinking. I thought about
So
that.
you're opening up a can of worms there.
No, but I was thinking about that Sunday that
Yeah.
as you're talking about that because you said that there is no sacrifice for that. The penalty is death,
Oh, right. Yeah.
and there was a death. You know, the son.
Well, it would be David and Bathsheba, actually.
Well, which do you think hurt him worse? You know, lose a son or lose his life? I think losing a son, man, I can't think of that.
Yeah, I didn't think of that in that case. Where he says, so David's offering is a broken spirit, and then I wasn't, anyway, I was trying to say, because this psalm started to stir up in me, this looking to Christ, and Jesus had a broken spirit. In this case, that word in Hebrew looks like it means like torn apart.
Okay.
And this is what happens on the cross. Jesus is somehow the forever one God is pulled apart.
Oy.
And then although Jesus wasn't a sinner, contrite usually means a sinner. Also, in this case, it means more like crushed. So one is, I think, one is broke, one is pulled apart, and one is crushed. And Jesus was, I think that may be the language of, I should have looked that up, but I think, let's do that real quick, see if I can.
I think of all the things that Jesus had to endure, being part of the Trinity for eternity, and then being separated from God, man.
Isaiah 53, it says, Jesus. This is speaking about Jesus, the prophecy, but he was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. So, and then I also thought about how this little phrase from David, "My sacrifice, O God, is a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. You, God, will not despise." I was trying to think about how do we respond to ourselves, like when we fail morally. And I don't think I like the answer of what most people would tell me if I was sitting with them one-on-one.
Yeah.
But we could confess, agree with God, say, "Hey, I'm a sinner. I'm going to sin.
Yeah.
Unless you help me, I'll do the same stupid thing again. I just know I will. Renew me, change me." And then that broken heart, to me, something about that is almost like an insight that David had, right? Not just like, these are the things I'm doing, but now my insight is that really you just wanted me and my heart, even though it's broken, to come to you. Mm-hmm. And so I was trying to get people to reflect on that a little bit on Sunday, like when you fail, what could you tell yourself, as opposed to, I don't want to say that bad word. It's kind of a bad word. You stink.
Yeah.
You stink. Well, of course, you're the worst. Like,
or I'm out, man. I'm out of the club. I sinned. I did the
I knew I was no good.
Yeah.
You played tennis, right?
Used to.
The hardest thing in tennis is your mind.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
same way in golf too. But
Yeah, I never played golf,
Yeah.
but in tennis, if you can not tell yourself you stink, once you start that message, you've
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
anyway,
I find that to be true in almost everything.
yeah,
Like I'm really good at this, or I'm really bad at it. And then wait, no, that's not how. I forget how I used to say it.
yeah.
Both are. If you tell yourself
Oh,
you're bad,
either one's true.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but a reflection on, so when I fail, how am I going to not only just respond, but also what I'm going to tell myself? Because the response is, I'm sorry. That I need a new
Yeah.
heart. I see that I'm a sinner, but also, how am I going to now think about myself? I'm bringing you my broken heart. We had talked about the other night. I lost it. A broken heart, a broken and contrite heart. Oh, I don't as often now, or I can't think of an example where I was so brokenhearted over my own sin. I remember feeling that way, but I
I
can't
do
think
too.
of a time
yeah,
exactly. But I could relate to now, where I'm at now, and 50 something, is if you said, "Hey, Rich, this thing that you did that really hurt me," and I might say, "Oh, I didn't mean that. I didn't even mean that at all. I was thinking about that." But boy, it breaks my heart to think that hurt you. Whether I mean, I can own it, or I can say that wasn't in my mind at all. But that it hurt you
yeah,
breaks my heart, right? I can
Yeah.
relate to that. That seems. I don't know if it means. I was kind of wondering, is it because we're growing, and now, like, we're actually living in faith? So I'm believing that my sins are not always before
Yeah.
me, and so they're not.
yeah. The it made me think of when I guess I'd have been maybe 15 or 16, a really, really young Christian, and I was in a crowd, and I said a bad word to be, around the guys, to be cool,
Yeah, right.
and it went through me like a knife that I had.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, that I'd been.
Of all the, I mean, you've done other things, I guess.
Oh
I
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah,
That's kind of what stands out for me. Things that they seem very small, but
Yeah.
they do stick out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
yeah,
I just we started saying that. I started thinking about maybe even in our family, like in our friends, like one thing we can hold out to found and lost people is that, if you knew Christ, or if you walk with Christ, those things that kind of that control you, that you did wrong, they could be almost like another person's memory. They could be so far from you.
Yeah.
Like he can actually put your sin far, far away
Yeah.
from you,
hmm
even in your own mind. So you wouldn't think of yourself as the guy who got the DUI, or the
Well,
guy who.
That one point you made Sunday, I'm trying to think how it came up. That that there's some religious group that has to confess every sin every night.
Well, I don't know if it's the whole group, but the church these people I've been getting to know.
So
Tell them what that is, though. If you don't confess every sin every day and you die that day, you might go to hell.
yeah.
Yeah.
But your point on that is what about the things that you didn't do that you should have?
Right.
That would be a sin. That you don't even, you're born into sin. We were created to be good.
That was in that psalm, right? I
Yeah.
was born in this. Yeah.
Yeah.
But your sin is like you and I are so riddled by sin. Even though we are overcoming in Christ, we're still sinners to the point that you don't even know it was a sin.
Yeah.
Like you don't even know, because you're just learning to walk.
Yeah, like 150 years from now, we could say, man, that was a really good day we had. I mean, and then replay it, and it's just riddled with sin. You
Yeah.
know?
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Because
Yeah.
as you grow, even in 10 years. So if I were to go and hang out with myself 10 years ago, and see the way maybe I talk to people and go and think I was so proud of that conversation, and then Rich now goes, "Oh, bro, you came across so cocky or
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
uncaring, so
Yeah.
flippant."
Yeah.
Flippancy's been one of my
Yeah.
biggest faults.
Yeah. Same here.
Just to be flippant about things that are
Yeah.
yeah.
Most smart people are like that.
Oh, really? And
actually,
me, and
no.
me too.
No.
You,
That's for real though.
is that right?
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
Well, I think I'm done.
I think I am too.
So, just to recap real quick about this: when you fail, the answer can't be, "Well, I'm the worst."
Yeah. I'm done.
That could be part of your answer, but I'm the chief of sinners, like Paul said, is fine. I think it's what
Yeah.
Paul said. He didn't say I was. He said I'm chief of sinners. Paul
Yeah.
said in Romans 6, he said the thing I hate, I do.
Yeah.
He didn't say I used to do the thing I hate.
I do. Yeah.
Now he might be saying the condition of humankind there, which is he's a
Yeah.
human. He's a human.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's part, and the other part is that I'm dearly loved. I'm the image of God, and I carry the Spirit of God.
Yes.
And so we have to hold
Both
them
things.
both.
Yeah.
And if you're struggling with that, I hope you hear this, and I hope it blesses you to walk in an ocean of grace. There's grace for miles. Every way you look, there should be
Yeah.
grace in your life. And Mark and we're here for real to be a part of that,
Yes.
whether it's on the phone or in the chicken coop, wherever
Anywhere,
it's at.
backyard, yeah. On the swing.
Yeah. So peace. Love you guys.
Love you guys.